Continue graphing using t-charts. This time we're really going to focus on the t-chart, which means that there's going to be 3 problems for every graph. Okay, we don't have to change the order of the graph. We don't have to do any solving, but we do have to focus on the number that is in front of the y. Okay? And that's going to be our t-chart. So up here I'm going to write a t-chart, my x and my y coordinates, and the number in front of the y, and I guess I should really also incorporate the sign that's in front of it, because that doesn't, not really, but yes, make a difference. And that's going to be the number that I put in front of the x for my x, right? So I'm going to use the 5, I'm going to use a 0, and I'm going to use a negative 5. So that's going to give me my 3y ordered pairs, or coordinates, so that I have 3 ordered pairs that I can plot and then draw my line. Okay, and if I do the work right, it's a straight line. If I do the work wrong, it goes cuckoo. And we don't want to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Not today. All right. Let me zoom in a tad so that you guys have better. There we go. Mas? All right. So what this tells me is that I'm going to rewrite my equation. 6, and instead of x, I'm going to put a parentheses, right? So I'm going to use my first substitution value of 5. So 6 times 5 plus 5y is equal to negative 20. Now I'm going to solve this problem. Okay? So if I look up at my menu, right, I have to get rid of the parentheses. You see the menu over there to the left? Your left. Okay? It says eliminate parentheses. Do I have parentheses here? Yeah. 6 times 5, right? So what is 6 times 5? So I can bring that down, and now my equation is a little bit different, but not much. Right? Draw my line here. Now I'm going to go back to my equation. It says use distributive property. Do I have to use distributive property in this problem? Yeah. No, there's no more distribution. I already got rid of my parentheses by multiplying 6 times 5. Do I have any like terms to combine?
Yes. Yeah, 5y.
Where else is there another 5y that I'm going to combine it with? There is not. Right? So if I'm looking on this side of the equal sign, there's no like terms. And this side I only have a negative 20. Okay? So the next one says to add the opposite. So I'm going to look for an inverse operation. Is there something where I can move over to this side? What can I move over? The 30. What's the opposite of positive 30? Negative. So I'm going to use my inverse operation, and I'm going to add negative 30 to both sides. Right? This becomes what? So I'm going to bring down what I have left, right? My plus 5y. Since it's positive, I don't have to bring down that sign. If it was a negative, I'd bring down the negative sign. But now I have a negative 20 plus a negative 30. Okay, so I need to add, right? If I'm using my column method, I have 20 plus 30, and their answer is going to be what? Positive or negative? It's going to be a negative. So what's 20 plus 30? Negative 50. Okay, so my last step to find what y is all by itself is to undo this inverse operation. So I'm either going to divide by the coefficient of y or multiply by the reciprocal. So what is in front of y? So I can divide by 5, both sides. All right? What does y equal then? Close. Negative 10. Bless you. So that one's going to be off my chart, but I might still have 2 good points that I can use. So now I do it again. Same thing I did. I'm going to rewrite my problem, and instead of x, I'm going to put parentheses. My value for x is going to be 0 plus 5y equals negative 20, right? What is 6 times 0? That leaves me with 5y equals 20, right? So all I have to do is my inverse, right? I don't have to move anything over. But my inverse of this is going to tell me to divide both sides by what number? Positive 5, right? What does y equal in this equation? Negative 4. So now when x is 0, y is negative 4. We have one more to do. This time x is going to be negative 5. 6, and then my parentheses, negative 5 plus 5y equals negative 20. What is 6 times a negative 5? Negative 30 plus 5y equals negative 20. This time, my opposite of negative 30 is what? What's the opposite of negative 30? So I'm going to add 30, positive 30, to both sides. Right? That's going to give me this 5y is equal to what? So here maybe I want to do the column method. Right? I have a negative 20 and a positive 30. 20 is smaller. When I subtract it, I get a positive 10. Right? Then, what do I do next? I want to divide both sides by 5. Thank you, Laudo. So what does y equal? Positive 2, right? So like I said, this 10 here is off the chart, but I can graph the other two. Right? So let's find 0. X is 0. Y is going to be negative 4. Back to my point of origin. X is negative 5. Y is positive 2. You grab your straight edge. And there's your line. Right? That's all we have to do. It's a lot of work though, isn't it? Create your t-chart. Look at your value in front of y. That's what you're going to use for x. X, that number, 0 and its opposite. And then you're going to substitute into the equation 3 times to find your y's. Right? Could you maybe just do, if you want to be lazy, 2? Maybe 0 in the number? Yeah. But what happened if we had only done 0 and one number? Could we graph it? Because this one, were we able to graph it? We weren't, right? Because it was off the chart. So you want to stick to using the 3 numbers. The number in front of y, its opposite, and 0. Okay? Then we're going to substitute. Make sure we use our parentheses to let us know that we're substituting that value. All right? Go ahead and turn over. Let's look at number 5. This time number 5 is a fraction. Okay, so that's some good practice. Let's do the fraction freak out. Ready? No fraction freak out? You guys all like to do the fraction freak out. You see a fraction, you're like, oh, no, I can't do it. Yeah, it's pizza. It's easy. Okay? It's like pizza. Now, I still want to do t-charts. Okay? So I'm still going to do my t-chart over here. Here's my t-chart. Here's my x. And here's my y. What is in front of x this time? I mean, what's in front of y? What's here?
1. Negative 1.
1, right? Because Juan's shy. So we're going to use 1. I'll put the 1 there. 0, and the opposite of 1, which is negative 1. And that's what I'm going to use to simplify. Okay? So I'm going to start by saying y minus 5/3 times 1 is equal to 0. And I know it looks confusing, but it's not. So in order to multiply a fraction, you need to make this whole number a fraction. Okay? Yes. Okay. So this becomes y minus, what's 5 times 1?
What?
What's 5 times 1? It's 5, right? What's 3 times 1? Equals 0. Okay? So now I'm going to add 5/3 to both sides. Right now it's super easy. Plus 5/3. This becomes 0, right? So y is now equal to 5/3. That wasn't that hard, was it?
What?
What?
Kind of.
Nope. So 1 is 5/3. So it's a fraction, or if you turn this into a mixed number, how many 5s go into 3? 1. And then you have the remainder of 2 over 3. So it's almost 2. Okay? 5/3 would be like 1 and there. Okay? Almost 2 when we graph it. All right? So let's do it again. Now I have y is equal to, oops, not y is equal to, y minus 5/3. And this time I'm going to use 0 equals 0. Super easy. What is negative 5/3 times 0? It becomes 0, right? So what is y equal to? So when x is 0, y is also 0. Looked harder than you thought, huh? Last one. This time y is going to be negative 1. So y minus 5/3 times a negative 1 over 1, I'm just going to make it a fraction, is equal to 0. Now negative times a negative becomes what? A positive. So this becomes y plus 5 over 3. 5 times 1 is 5, 3 times 1 is 5. We already said it's a positive, and it equals 0. Same thing rule applies. I'm going to subtract 5/3. Subtract 5/3. Now what does y equal? What's 5/3? Negative 5/3 plus 0. Negative 5/3. Right? Which is negative 1 2/3. As we previously said. And now I can graph them, right? Can you graph them? Yeah, so if x is 1, y is 1 2/3, so y is almost 2. Then we have 0, 0, right? 0, 0, point of origin. Then I'm going to go negative 1, I'm going to go almost negative 2. So I did my math right because I have a straight line that I can graph and add my arrows on the end. What did I forget to do to the first problem? What did I forget to do? I forgot to label it. 6x plus 5y equals negative 20. So on this problem here, number 5, what should I label it? What should I label it? I've got my x. Right? So do you guys remember how to do this? Should we do one more? That'll give you 5 problems for homework. Which one do you want me to do?
Number 8.
Number 8's got some big numbers? You think number 8?
I could get the rest of number 5.
All right, I'll leave this up here for a bit, and then we'll go to number 8. When you guys said, right? You guys said number 8?
That's what it's
All right, so here we have 5y equals 15 plus 2x. So we got some bigger numbers, but not really that big, but that's okay. So we're going to look at what is in front of the y. We have a 5, right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do my t-chart since we have tons of room for the bottom of this one. My t-chart's going to look at this 5, a 0, and the opposite of 5, which is negative 5. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my problem here. I have 5y is equal to 15 plus 2, and instead of x, I'm going to use in parentheses a 5. Okay? So let's bring it down. What's 2 times 5? 10. Bring down my 5y, my equals, and my 15. 2 times 5 is a positive 10. Whoa, wait a minute.
What?
Do I have to combine like terms now? Don't I have a 15 and a 10? No, it's plus. I know it looks like H, doesn't it? Let's fix it. 15 plus 10. There we go. So can I add these two terms?
Yeah.
So what is 15 plus 10?
25.
Right, so that made it easy because it was already on that side. I just combined my like terms. Following that recipe that I have up there helped me out. So now I have 5y and 25, right? What do I do? Divide both sides by 5. This is a step that Lauro has down. What's 25 divided by 5? So when x is 5, y is also 5. Okay, I have to do 2 more problems. I'm going to rewrite my problem. 5y is equal to 15 plus 2 times 0, right? Because this time x is 0. Right? What is 2 times 0? 0. That brings me to 5y is now equal to 15. I don't have to do any more. I don't have to combine like terms because it became 0. Right? But I can do this next step. Right, Lauro? What's my next step? Again, dividing both sides by 5. So y is now equal to what number?
3.
3. Thank you, Eddie. So when x is 0, y is 3. Okay, last one. 5y is equal to 15 plus 2 times, this time it's a negative 5. Right? Draw that down there. What is 2 times a negative 5?
A positive 5.
It's a negative. Negative 10. 2 times a negative 5 gives me a negative 5, right? Positive times a negative gives me a negative. 2 times 10. 2 times 5 is 10. I still have to combine these two. And here, Kevin, here's my T-chart for this, okay? Because I want you to see what I'm actually doing. This is a positive 15, right? So that's going to go on this side. This is a negative 10. It's going to go on this side, right? Can't see? Sorry. Right? So if I'm this number is smaller than 15, right? So I actually have to move it over and subtract it. What is 15 minus 10? 5. But because it's on the positive column, my answer is going to be 5. So 5y is now equal to 5. So let's say this was negative and the smaller number was here, then I'd do the opposite. I would take my 10 and subtract it from 15, but my answer would be negative. Okay? So you're just going to figure out what side the smaller number is and then subtract it from the bigger number. That side will tell you if it's positive or negative. Okay? On the column method. So my last step again, Laura, what do I do? What's my last step? Divide both sides by 5. Y is going to be equal to what?
2.
Thank you, Eddie. 1. And now, I have 3 ordered pairs that I can graph. Starting at my point of origin, my x is 5, my y is 5. So x is 5, y is 5. Back to my point of origin, my x is 0, but I do have a y that is 3. So I don't move left or right, but I move up 3. And then my last one, back to my point of origin, my x is negative 5, so I'm going to go left 5. And then my y is 1, so I'm going to go up 1. And that gives me a nice, clean, straight line that I can do my arrows and label with my original equation. 5y is equal to 15 plus 2x. Right?
One more. Plus 2.
Do you want me to do another one, or are you guys ready to start on your own? Start on your own? All right, go ahead. So you have to do 3 on the front and 2 on the back. It does require some work, guys. I'm going to leave this up here for you guys to look at if you didn't get to finish it. All right?